Does the new Luna's Howl live up to expectations? Is it all it's cracked up to be? Well, in this video, we're going to find out and much more. That being said, if you're enjoying the Destiny 2 content on the channel and want to see more, as well as sci-fi content in the future, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get straight into the video. So I'm going to be very honest and say that initially I thought Luna's Howl was going to be a 180 because of the precision frame that it's attached to, but it became a 140. So getting used to it for me personally was a little bit of a, not an uphill battle, but it definitely felt like it needed some getting used to compared to other 140s like the Midnight Coup or even Zali's Bane, for example. But we'll get into that later. For now, let's stick to the fundamentals and basics, kicking things off with the stats. So impact is at 84, 41 for the range, 57 for stability, 45 handling, 54 reload speed, aim assist 79, zoom 14, and 45 for the airborne effectiveness, with the RPM sitting at 140, 10 magazine, and 95 for the recoil direction. Next, we'll move into the perks themselves, which I think is where this gun really shines. From the left-hand side, moving to the right, we have arrowhead brake, chambered compensator, corkscrew rifling, extended barrel, fluted barrel, full bore, hammer forge rifling, polygonal rifling, small bore. Next, we have extended mag, alloy mag, appended mag, armor piercing rounds, high caliber rounds, ricochet rounds, flared mag well, and light mag. Next up, we have Eye of the Storm, Discord, Encore, Slide Shot, Enlightened Action, Heel Clip, and Subsistence. And lastly, we have Incandescent, Magnificent Howl, which in my opinion is one of the stronger perks right now. I think that once you master this, it's a very terrifying, very powerful perk to have on this gun. Next, we have Kill Clip, Opening Shot, Desperate Measures, Precision Instrument, and lastly Harmony, with of course the origin trait being Indomitability for all respective Brave Arsenal weapons. So in this category, like I said, the perks are really strong, and I think this is the biggest selling point of Luna's Howl. The amount of perk combinations you have, whether you're a PvE enthusiast or you're a PvP specialist, the perk combinations in this are wild, and we'll get into that of course once we jump into that section. But right now it's incredibly potent, and once you get used to the feel of Luna's Howl, this thing will be cooking for days. Now that being said, comparatively, this thing, again, there's a lot of competition in the 140 category. So we already know Midnight Coup exists, and that itself is also part of the Brave Arsenal inventory. So this is merely just a personal preference, but for the sake of review, let's jump in and we're going to compare a few weapons here. We're going to look at Midnight Coup, Judgment, Waking Vigil, Zali's Bane, Kept Confidence, and Spare Rations. I was going to throw in Exalted Truth, but there's a bit too much for me to compare, so I think these are just enough for now. But if you do own Exalted Truth, definitely keep it. It is a very strong hand cannon. So moving into the impact, everything is the same of course. Range, Luna's Howl does lose out to Judgment, Zali's Bane, Kept Confidence, and not Spare Rations, but it does win, over Spare Rations and Midnight Coup, ever so slightly, with 41 and Midnight Coup being 40. Stability wins out above the Coup, the Judgment, Vigil, Bane, and Kept Confidence. As a matter of fact, stability overall, it's pretty strong. Handling somewhat loses out here to the Coup. Coup sits at a nice high 60 alongside Waking Vigil at 63. Zali's Bane just barely beats it out at 46, and then Spare Rations is sitting at a nice comfortable 71. So its handling can be a bit better, but nevertheless, let's keep going. Reload speed is at 54, with Midnight Coup beating it out by 2 points alongside Waking Vigil, alongside of course Spare Rations, but it beats out Judgment, Zali's Bane, and Kept Confidence. Aim assist is at 79, Midnight Coup beats it out by a whopping 90, and then we have a Judgment at 75, Waking Vigil 82, Zali's and Kept Confidence do lose out here, with Spare Rations coming up at 83. everyone sits at the same 14 zoom, airborne effectiveness. Now this is where, of course, I think Luna's Howl can be great if you're in the air, of course, but it beats out everything else by a large margin. RPM is the same, magazine size, most sit at 10 with Midnight Coup and Waking Vigil alongside the spare rations, just squeaking it out by 1 or 2 bullets in a mag. And then Judgment sits at a measly 9. And then recoil direction, 95 is at Luna's Howl with Midnight Coup sitting at 80, 95 tying with the Judgment. You have 98 for Waking Vigil, Zalu's Bane 89, Kept Confidence 91, and spare rations at a nice, comfortable 100. So overall, I think, you know, there's a little bit of a mixture between highs and lows with stats, but I think once you have the right perks, you have the right mods on this thing, Luna's Howl is going to be just cooking. And if you have the shiny enhancement version, you're just going to be sitting nice and comfortably. So for me, I've always been a huge fan of Midnight Coup personally, but I gotta say, the more I play with Luna's Howl and the perk combinations, if you are a huge fan of solar like I am, Luna's Howl really pairs well with a lot of different just builds that you can utilize, and like I said, its perk combinations are pretty spicy. So that being said, let's move on to that point. I gotta say, Luna's Howl has some spectacular perk combinations that I think many of you will enjoy, especially if you're looking for a brand new hand cannon to take advantage of. Now, of course, as mentioned before, Midnight Coup is part of the Brave Arsenal weapon catalog, so you do have 2 very strong competitive options to choose from. But I gotta say, if you're a fan of solar and you're really looking for that synergy, look no further than this weapon. Now, let's jump into the juicy details that are the perk combinations. I've curated some that I feel are really, really good as far as PvE and PvP. I'll go into them in detail and explain why I think these are effective. So let's kick things off with number 1. Now, the first shiny you get out of the box is Magnificent Howl, Eye of the Storm, Ricochet Rounds, and Small Bore. Now, I think this is really good just because Howl is really, really strong. The more you land your shots, the Howl gets value. Eye of the Storm, let's say you're running a GM, you're taking damage, the lower your health, Eye of the Storm kicks in. Same thing with PvP. If you're taking damage, Eye of the Storm can really be a great asset to you. Next, we have Incandescent Heal Clip, Armor Piercing, Chamber Compensator. Then next we have Kill Clip, Slide Shot, Extended Mag, Extended Barrel. Next, Kill Clip, Heal Clip, Armor Piercing Rounds, Fluted Barrel. Then the shiny version that I have is Precision Instrument / Desperate Measures, Slide Shot / Discord, Ricochet, Full Bore. Then we have Magnificent Howl, Encore, Extended Mag, Corkscrew Rifling. Next we have Incandescent, Slide Shot, Alloy Mag, and Arrowhead Break. Then we have Desperate Measures, Eye of the Storm, Armor Piercing Rounds, Fluted Barrel. Then we have Kill Clip, Subsistence, Appended Mag, and Arrowhead Break. And so again, you can see that there are a lot of great perk combinations that you can work with. And so if you really want something that's going to provide that long-term sustainability, long-term value, some of these rolls are really good. So I want to talk more about the shiny option that I have, which was the Precision Instrument / Slide Shot Ricochet Rounds. Now, the reason why I love this for PvP is because Slide Shot is really valuable. In PvP, you're doing a lot of sliding back and forth to avoid incoming fire, to of course reposition, save yourself from damage, and then if you're hitting your shots, that Precision Instrument is going to kick in and you're going to get that extended degree of damage. So this is a really, really strong perk combination in my opinion. Not to mention, if you are running a light subclass with Indomitability, you're going to get that grenade versus your dark where you get the melee. But whatever you run, this combination I think is really, really strong. So if you're a PvP enthusiast, definitely try and aim for Precision / Slide Shot, because every slide you do, you're going to be getting your ammo back. So let's say every 2 shots, every 2 tap, every 3 tap, you just run around, slide, and you're just replenishing ammo. Very, very solid, very effective. Another great option that I think that can be good for PvE, I feel personally, would be your Incandescent Slide Shot. Now, the reason why I say this is good for PvE is because slide shot, you can still slide around in PvE, most notably in the more challenging ordeals like a GM or maybe even onslaught, where you're trying to avoid incoming damage from enemy hordes. And an incandescent pairing well with solar, you can get good value, scorch targets, and just amplify over time. So if you're looking for a PvP, substitute, then this one can be one for you. The other option is the shiny one, which of course is the Mag Howl Eye of the Storm ricochet rounds that you get normally from your first shiny completion of the onslaught. And of course, Mag Howl being a really strong tool, as I mentioned before in the video, the more that you amplify this perk, it gets stronger over time, and thus you're just dealing more damage to big tanky targets. Eye of the Storm is great as well, not just for PvE but also PvP too, most notably because if you're taking damage, Eye of the Storm pops up and you should be good to go there. And then also another favorite of mine, I gotta say, is the heal clip, kill clip. You can't go wrong with this. I think this perk combination is always going to be great regardless of whatever you do, whether it's PvE or PvP. It's a nice balance. For every kill you get, you're racking up damage. Heal clip, you're taking damage, you get cure ×2 for yourself, and then of course for your team you get the ×1. Even then, that's fantastic. Really strong combination overall. So definitely a must-have pick if you're looking for that Luna's Howl pickup. And everything else, as I mentioned, these are all strong variants and they can be utilized to whatever degree you desire, so long as you make use of it for your own respective build and loadout. Now, everyone's god roll is going to be subjective in what they think is best, again, for their own respective build, but these, I feel, based on my curated experiment, I feel like these are pretty strong and consistent. So that being said, let's move on to my final thoughts. In the end, Luna's Howl really surprised me in that I had my reservations. Now, granted, I was very excited for the weapon, just because it was the one I was really itching to grab, more so than Midnight Coup, surprisingly. And so at first, I had the hype and I used it and I'm like, this is, it's taking some time to get used to. But as I got used to it and as I maximized its perk combinations, I really started to see the potential, and my thrill and excitement came back big time. And so in the end, honestly, when you have competition like Midnight Coup out there, even your other exotic options like Ace of Spades at 140, honestly, this feels like an exotic. At times, I feel like when I use Luna's Howl, I feel like I'm using an exotic weapon just because the perk combinations are ridiculous. Magnificent Howl is hands down one of the best perks thus far. When you can really master it, it really hits very hard in both respective PvE and PvP playlists. So again, if you're just a solar fan and you want a solar synergy weapon, or you're just a hand cannon fan, Luna's Howl is right there for you. So I gotta give this Luna's Howl a solid 5 out of 5. I think it's one of the best hand cannons in the game right now. I'd even go as far as saying the best, but that's pretty steep. But I gotta say, it's very potent, and if you have the shiny variant, you are sitting in a comfortable position moving into Final Shape and the future. So if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more educational Destiny 2 stuff on the channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Become a member on YouTube. More perks coming down the road for y'all, and subscribe to Kick as well. Until next time, you warriors, stay strong, keep fighting, and may the force be with you all always. Take care and see you again soon. Peace.